Hi, it's Jane here from craftwithjane.co.uk, and today I'm bringing you this super cute triangle flip top gift box. So it opens up, I've got some coordinating DSP on the inside, and it is a really snug fit. You can almost hear the sort of vacuum snugness of the fit, and you can have it upside down and it doesn't open. I'm going to be using it probably for Christmas to put small gifts in, like jewellery, sort of bracelets or earrings wrapped up in some lovely coordinating tissue paper. I just think they're super to have. So I'm going to be making a whole batch of these. This project was absolutely cased from an amazing crafter called Angelina of Intertwined Designs. Yes, so thank you very much for the inspiration for this project. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on. Real red. And it is matching from Heartwarming Hugs. So it's a DSP that carried over from last year, and it's fabulously bright and festive, all the traditional colours. Designer series paper, I love it. So I'm going to, my first piece of cardstock is 8 by 4 inches. You'll find all of my measurements on my blog. You will find the metric, which is centimetres, as well as the imperial in inches. So on the long side, I'm going to score it at 3.5 and at 4.5. So I'm going to turn it, and at the short side, I'm going to be making a tiny little mark, and I'm turning it over and doing the same. So I've got 2 score lines in the middle, and I've got 2 center points marked at either end. And that's because I'm going to need to cut a triangle here to create the outside of the box. Then I have a piece of cardstock, 2, one which is 9 inches by 1.5 and one which is 8 by 1.5. So on the 9, on the long side, I'm going to need to score it at 1/2 inch, 4.5 and 8.5. Oops, sorry. And then on the short side, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. Oops. Perfect. So you can just see there. And then on the slightly smaller piece, which is 8 inches by 1.5, I'm going to score it at 4. And on the long side, and on the short side, again, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, so that is there. And then I do have one more piece, which is going to create a triangle topper for me. So on this one, which is 4 inches by 3.5, on the 4-inch side, I just need to mark at the 2-inch, just there. So I'm now going to get out my paper trimmer and do some of the sort of the triangle shape cutting. And then the reason I'm using this is because you can sort of visualize where you need to be. So this is my cutter. There we go. So I'm going to go to the center of this piece and the corners, and I'm just going to take it off there, and then I'll do the same this side, so you can see. And this will make the triangle piece just here, that you can see. Perfect. And that is the triangle piece that will help to form the lid of the box. So now I'm going to repeat the triangle cutting on both of these ends. So I'm going to find that center point, and I'm going to take it to the edge of the first score mark here. Oops, I just knocked that, so apologies. You have to be very precise when you're doing this, so try and secure your cardstock. Perfect. So that one is there, and I'm going to repeat that on this one just here. And I'll be doing that both sides. So the beauty of this project is in the accuracy of the cutting. You cannot afford to have lips, so you do need to be pretty precise. So sorry if I'm going quite slow, but once I've done it, you'll see how necessary it was to be spot on. There we go. So that's there. and it leaves you with this cute little shape just here. And then you're going to basically burnish those two sides just there, and that creates the emphasis of the box, so the outer part. Okay, so I'm going to burnish the remainder, and then I'm going to do some cutting. That one's there, just there. So I do, I know we're in October, I'm filming this in October. I think it is actually going to be shown at the end of October, and I'm right at the beginning. So normally about sort of 3 to 4 weeks ahead with my projects. So I'm going to keep this one folded, and I'm going to take quite a sharp angle miter using my snips, my paper snips, off each side, just like that. So it's quite a decent angle. And the reason for this is that it's going to need to fold like that to make the lid. So it's going to be like that with that sat on top of it. That one's just there, and this one will need to be the same because it's the bottom. So I'll just just open up my project for you and show you. You can't see, but it's going to have the bottom bits in there, and it's going to have those two bits on the side just in there. Can you see that just there? That one. So these side pieces we're going to cut in like that, and do that with, and the same on this side. So like that and like that. I mean, you don't have to cut this piece away here because you're going to miter this one now. And then same principle, you're going to miter in, same here, you're going to miter in. So I'm going to lay both of these pieces, all of these pieces out flat for you so you can see. And for those of you that like to pause my videos now, just so you can get the idea of how you're cutting each of your layers. So those are all of the finished pieces pre-assembly. Okay. So this is going to be the lid, so we're going to take these away, and then we'll come back to these in just a second, because I now need to make my DSP. So I'm going to start off with a piece of DSP, and this forms the triangle of the inner triangle, the sort of inside layer just here, and of the lid triangle, and they're exactly the same sizes. So that is 3.5 by 4. Sorry, no, the DSP layer, apologies, slightly smaller because I did want a little lip. You can make it to fit exactly, but I just quite like having a little lip either way, all the way around. So this piece is 3 7/8 by 3 3/8. So you can see just there. So on the slightly longer side, I'm going to simply fold it in half and make a little pinch mark there, and then I'm going to get a pencil or a pen, and I'm going to just mark it just there like that. So I'm marking it not on the side I'm using, I'm marking it on the opposite side, and then I'm going to get my trimmer back out, and I'm going to cut it. So same principle as before. I'm going to take that there, and then take that there. So I now have my inner triangle and my triangle for my lid. So you can see it's coming together. So I'm going to start gluing a few pieces. So I'm going to glue this outside piece just here, and I've made 3 strips which are 3 7/8 by 7/8 of an inch, so just under the inch mark, and I'm going to stick this one on here to start with. So I'm going to do that with some glue actually. There we go. So you can put your DSP on after, or you can put it on before, whichever works for you. So I'm going to put that one on there. Oops. Luckily that's not going to show. So put that one on there, and I'm going to put it to the side just here. And then this will form the inside of the box. So this does not require any DSP on it. So because I know that's going to be the lid, because I just made a smudge mark on it, I'm going to basically adhere this just like this and glue it in place. So for this, I'm actually not going to use my liquid glue. I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. So you could use your liquid glue, you just need to allow a little bit of extra time to dry. You could also use your tear and tape, but I am loving my Stampin' Seal Plus at the minute, so I'm going to see how I fare with this. See how we get on. So, perfect. So to start with, I am going to start on my point, and I'm going to just line up as best I can this one here. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. So it looks pretty good. And then I'm going to close in my box element just here. Okay, so this is my inner layer, and that's going to be where my box lid sits. So you can see that. So I'm going to put my DSP on the inside, use a tiny bit of glue for this, use my multi-purpose liquid glue. Brilliant. And pop it in. There we go. And just make sure it lines up nicely. Press down, allow that to dry. So now I have my inner layer, my outer layer here ready, and this is the inside of the box, so there's going to be no layers going on that one. Then I'm going to put my 2 layers on this one, just here. So I have the 2 layers here, use my liquid glue, and I will pop those into place. And do the same on this one. Okay. So just allow a second or two for these to dry. I might use my bone folder to just make sure they're as secured as I can. Okay, so now I'm going to sit these on top here. So I actually need to glue the underside of these. Now I'm going to use liquid glue for this because I found that I need a really good attachment for this, and I need a tiny bit of wiggle room. So I'm actually going to use liquid glue. My Stampin' Seal Plus would be perfect, and so would my tear and tape, but because I like to have a little bit of wiggle room, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to make sure it's as secure as I can, and then I'm going to press down. Now I've just noticed that there's a tiny overlap of this. I'm going to just take that a little bit in, a tiny bit more, so that there's no overlap, and I'll do that again. So you can see they both fit pretty snugly now. So I'm going to hold that into place, and hopefully it will pick the glue up. Once it does that, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to pull this box out for a second. I'm just going to press down a bit firmer to get it to pick up, and then I'm going to put it down. There we go. There we go. So I will leave that to dry for a second, and then I'm going to cut some thumb holes using my 1-inch circle punch. Stampin' doesn't sell these anymore, but you can pick up similar ones on certain internet sites. So I'm going to open it back up, just here, but I'm going to make some thumb holes along here. So you can do this before the DSP has been put on, because I'm very lucky. Stampin' Up products are fantastic and they can go through paper and cardstock at the same time, but not all punches are equal. And I definitely think it's certainly one of the things I joined Stampin' Up for, is the fact that their punches are out of this world. So you can see it's easier to open. So I'll just use my bone folder, make sure that's a nice snug fit. There we go, lovely, perfect. Okay, so that is there, and now I'm going to do the top. So double check this fits. Yes, it fits beautifully, and I will attach my DSP. Okay, so this is going to go on first with a tiny little layer, tiny lip. It's a really small little lip. You can make it bigger if you want to, but I quite like just the subtlety of it. And because it's red on red, you can't really see it that much. Just use my bone folder to make sure it's nice and secure. I'm going to do exactly the same on here. So pop that on, pop that on, pop that there, and some in the middle. Okay, and let's get this all lined up and on here. There we go. So that is the box completed. So I've just allowed that a little bit of time to dry before I decorate, and I'm going to use the Banner Year stamp set because it's an all year round versatile stamp set, and I'm going to choose the Christmas wishes out of this set, which I've pre-stamped in Real Red ink, and I'm going to be using Real Red sheer ribbon. So it's just this ribbon just here. Lovely one. It's a carryover from last year as well. So I've cut out a small piece of that, and I've just folded it over itself and attached it with some tear and tape on the back. So I'll just peel that off. I'm going to use my pick tool, I think. There we go. That's better. So I'm going to peel that off. So I do that to actually make sure the ribbon is secure and doesn't come off, because I'm actually going to apply it with some Stampin' Dimensionals here. So I'll just use those. I'm going to probably put one here. I'll put one close to each side of the ribbon, but not necessarily on the ribbon, because that might add a bit too much bulk and it'll be uneven. So I've popped those through on the back there. I'll take off the lovely backing of the Dimensionals. Make sure this is the front of my box. Yes, it is. And then I will try and center this as best as I can. Oops, a bit too far over. Okay, sort of seems quite centered just there, doesn't it? And then I'm going to be using my Real Red basic rhinestones. So just open these up and get my pick tool out, and I'm just going to put two either side. Kind of makes it look a little bit like they're sort of fixtures, doesn't it, when you put them either side like this? Quite like that. There we go. So I've popped that just there. So just to say that I die cut this out using this die here, and this is from the Pretty Pillow Box dies, and it's a beautiful label die in there. They've also got this label die in there as well, and they've got a little tag there as well. This is such a versatile die. I love it. So yeah, I've used that there because I really love the shape. So this is my triangle flip top gift box. So I do hope that you've enjoyed my project today. If you would like to shop any of the products, please follow the links below. If you'd like to join my team as well, please follow the links below. So I'm going to say bye for now, and happy crafting, everyone.